Well, the PSP is back for one more video. In my last few videos, I discovered that PS1 high-res games could look better when the PSP output was set to progressive, not interlace. This interested me so much, I decided I had to look into this phenomenon more closely. With this in mind, I took to the internet and found this, an incomplete list of known PS1 titles that used the high-res mode during gameplay. Today, we shall look at a few of them, both in progressive and interlace output modes on the PSP. We will use 480i passthrough, 480i line 4x and 480p line 2x thanks to the OSSC. At the end, I will also compare the 480p results with the Portta device so that you folks can see what happens when a budget upscaler takes on the same task as the OSSC. Now, let's get started. So, here we go. I won't spend too long talking about every game as I want you folks to decide for yourself which modes look best to you. We start with Tobal or Tobal 2, a Japanese exclusive PS1 game that uses the high-res mode. I think all three modes look pretty good in my opinion. Passthrough looks a bit soft but runs well and has a clean display when deinterlaced. The Line 4X mode is sharper for sure, but as always, the now vibratory look won't be everyone's cup of tea. The 480p mode though is the mode I would use. It's sharp and clean. It really makes playing this game in interlace modes a redundant feature. Any issues with those modes are fixed and it is nice to see this great looking game looking its best. This makes me happy I discovered this feature by complete accident. Dead or Alive has the same results as Tobal 2. In other words, 480i passthrough looks good enough. Line 4X is sharper yet possibly unpleasant to some people. And 480p transforms this game for the better. I can't stress enough how much this 480p output works with high-res PS1 games. I wish actual consoles could do this, but maybe in the future this might be a reality. Tekken 3 also sees the same benefits, albeit to a lesser degree. All three modes look blurrier than the prior two games, which is pretty interesting. 480p ultimately still beats out the interlace modes, but again compared to the other two fighting games, the results are not as compelling this time. I have no idea how to say its name, so please forgive me, but Gekioh, Shooting King, didn't look great with any mode. Yes, at a much closer look between the three, 480p is the cleanest and has a less jagged look, but it's hardly any sharper. Overall, only the locked output gives this a win, but otherwise just play and enjoy. Not to mention I'm not very good at this game, so forgive the gameplay. Kensei Scared Fist is a tactical based fighting game, and here, comparing all three resolutions, it's pretty clear which one is best. The interlace mode still looked the part, and if you have to play the game this way, it's still a decent experience. Yes, 480p once again shows its class and shows why it's worth trying out on these high-res PS1 titles. Okay, we've got another name here that I will struggle to pronounce. Ehrgeiz, I don't know. Anyway, this game basically has the same results as Kensei the Scared Fist. In other words, 480i and 480i Line 4X look fine, but the 480p mode looks the best and the most cleanest without question. Can I say, this game was not easy for me to play. The controls are just weird. Not a bad game, far from it, it just takes a lot of time to get used to. Looks great though, very nice looking game overall, and the 480p mode definitely helps its case. It's made by the same team who developed Tobal too, so these people clearly knew how to get the most out of the PlayStation. Kickboxing was not fun to test. Its gameplay was hard to understand and I never got the mechanics. Needless to say, getting this game will not be a priority for me. Still, as before, 480p is the best result here. Not that it helps the game out, as the experience left me bitter. Formula 1 has a hidden high-res mode. The game usually plays at 240p or 288p, but once you start a race, hit pause and at the screen options you can change between widescreen and high-res mode. Both modes use 480i, so I used the widescreen mode for a bigger picture. Overall, 480p worked the best and was much easier to play than 480i. Mind you, the game has aged quite a bit and later F1 games such as F1 2000 look far better despite lacking a 480i mode. And my last game for testing will be Dragon Warrior Torneko The Last Hope. This action RPG game was pretty cool to see, and maybe if I can find a copy, I'll go for it. Anyway, the differences between the resolutions were pretty minor. 480p was, again, the sharpest, but not by a huge margin. The game still had a blurry look regardless of the resolution. It was only when I took control did I note the sharper picture quality using 480p. Once more though, I must stress it was minor at best, and to be frank, you can play this game in any resolution and it won't really matter too much which one you choose. 480p will only help out when it comes to the changing resolutions of the cutscenes and gameplay. Right, now using a montage, let's see how 480p output fares between the OSSC and the Portta Component To HDMI upscaler, and then we will come to a conclusion. The PSP seems to do a respectable job of playing PS1 high-res games no matter which output you choose. Although the 480p results were cleaner and sometimes sharper, this was not always by a huge margin. At times the differences were at best minor. Still, if you have any PS1 high-res games on your PSP 2000 or 3000 and want to output them to a TV, 480p is a great way to do so. Interlace modes might work better if you connect to a CRT TV, but all of that is completely up to you. After all, different TVs deinterlace well differently. Your particular TV might work better at deinterlacing and look the part. Okay, let me know what you think of PS1 high-res games being output from a PSP, and until my next video, I will see you soon.